What's up?
Yo, how you doing? What's up?
So, what are we doing? Welcome to the Loose Ends podcast. The name is the name. It is what it is because we don't know what we're doing.
We have no idea what we're doing.
We have no clue, and so that's what Loose Ends means. It means to really have no flow, no set of events, nothing that is set in stone. You kind of just do what we feel.
Let us float,
Yep.
if you will.
Yep. I'm Jack.
I'm Spencer.
And we're just gonna go where we feel. This is a podcast. We're both Christian. Just get that out of the way. That sounded terrible. But so let's talk about just a couple of things. This setup, which I am running off of right now, I am so incredibly proud of it. But if you look at it from our eyes and you're from the outside perspective, it is not impressive. Let's just talk about what we see.
It does not look very impressive. I mean, we're literally in a bedroom with a table, mics, and a computer.
But we couldn't be more proud.
We couldn't be more proud.
I just got this little audio voice box. It's called the Focusrite. And then I just plugged a couple cords in there. We got 2 microphones set up. But guess what? The microphones are hooked up to a textbook so I can weigh them down. The fold-up picnic table could not hold.
School textbooks are used for something.
Exactly. Microphone. We have a pre-calculus textbook, and that's what we're rolling with.
Ooh, tough class.
Okay, so where we live in San Diego, we won't talk about where in San Diego, but I mean nobody's gonna want to find us. Okay, it has been raining so hard the last couple days that a high school near us has completely flooded out. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, Valhalla. I don't know if you know where it is, but it's a near school to us. There's been videos of floodgates going straight through like where the normal lockers are, like the normal hallways and stuff. It's actually pretty crazy. Like,
So the thing is, right, San Diego infrastructure, California in general, we cannot handle heavy rain. We got, 2 inches? I mean, some other places maybe got 3 or 4.
yeah,
But this has been the last couple days. And cities within the big city of San Diego where we live are being completely flooded out, mainly ones in the valley. And it's tough. It's really rough to go and look at videos on the internet, watching the news even. You just see 5 feet of water is present in many, many areas in the valley and near the Tijuana River Valley just south of us. And it is crazy to see.
yeah, like malls are getting flooded out. A lot of like loss of customers because of it too.
Yeah,
But-
no, nobody's going outside.
Yeah.
People, freeways actually, this is an interesting one. So freeways yesterday were completely shut down. So, maybe you were going to work, you left, you had to be to work at 11. You started off a little bit later shift in the day. Well, rain had been settling in a little bit more, so the freeway completely shut. So people that were trying to get at work by 11 were not arriving until about 4 p.m. That's how long
Yeah,
they
that's
just
crazy.
sat there.
Just saturating. Like, yeah.
So by the title of the podcast, of this episode, I read the Bible in a year, and here's why you should too. So over the last January 7th or 8th of last year, 2023, is when I started it.
Okay.
And it was this Bible plan to read the Bible a little bit more every day. And this was by a pastor from England named Nicky Gumbel. And the plan lasts 365 days, so I finished it over a week ago.
Congrats.
And I have to say, it has been the most edifying experience of my life. And I learned that word just so I could use it for this context. Because I felt so much growth. And you, Spencer, have started the exact same plan. Tell me about it. You've gone 12 days. How's it been?
It's been really good. I mean, new year, I'm trying to be a new me. Past year, I was not reading my Bible enough. It was kind of sporadic. So, new year, I thought I want to read the Bible every day. And YouVersion is an awesome website or app that gives you the chance to do plans, and it reminds you. So it's super helpful. So I've been doing that, and I'm 12 days in now. I'm feeling, I don't know, I feel pretty good with it. I've been super consistent.
So, which books are you starting off with on this specific plan? Because a lot of the plans are different.
Mm-hmm.
Like my plan is completely different than another guy that I got on the plan this year after I finished mine. So I'm just wondering which couple books are you diving into right now?
Right now it's doing about 2 chapters from Genesis, and then it's going it's a little sporadic, but it's just the first chapter of each. So it's Genesis, and then it's like I think I did Proverbs and a little bit of Psalms and stuff. So it's kind of weird how it's spread out, but I mean, it gets all the books in. So
So does it start off with a devotional talking about what you read and how it applies to the world, or it could be applied to your life?
It doesn't fully. It's more just the book, like the books, like the actual books, not like a person leading a devotion on that.
So for any listeners that would like to try the same plan, which we both highly recommend. I mean, you haven't been in this for 2 weeks, but you still see how substantial it's affected you. So when you start this plan, don't sweat missing a day. I once, for 3 months of this plan, had one day that I hadn't caught up on. While you should catch up on it, you should do the extra day, but it shouldn't be something you should be stressed out about. This should not be a chore. And this hasn't been a chore for you, has it?
No, it hasn't. It's just, well, actually, what works best for me is I put it on the audio version. I hit play of the books, and it reads it to me while I'm driving, because I wake up at 5 every morning. I get to the grind, and I just, like, I don't have much time to just sit down and read when, like, a normal book does. So I find that helps me get it, like, completed.
Like, no shame. I mean, you know, there's people out there that are so adamant about you have to actually read the pages, the physical pages, but as long as you're taking in that knowledge, I mean, God's word should be dived into any way you can, any way that's possible. The fact that you're making time for it shows that you want to have a relationship with Christ, and that's very, very important. But when you read this plan, you shouldn't be as worried about the devotional portion. And any author of any 365-day Bible plan would definitely agree with that, because it's about reading the Bible. And on the plan that I had, the devotional was actually very, very long, and it included prayers. And sometimes I wouldn't do the devotional, but you have to make sure that you're reading the word start to finish and you don't rush.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, something with the audio that I like is it reads it super slow, so it kind of helps me, like, I'm dyslexic, so, like, me reading, I don't get the full impact of the words, so me hearing it helps me understand what it's saying, and, like, with it, like, just like a normal, it's like an old guy that reads it.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's like an AI generated
that's cool.
voice or whatever, really cool. But, like, it just helps me focus, because I'm also driving, so it's not like I can't read it, so it's, I don't know. It just helps me.
I prefer, honestly, I wish I would have done this, is reading it in the morning at the beginning of the day. Because once you do your routine, you wake up, you do whatever, but in the morning, you're going to be able to take in this information a lot more.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you should honestly start with the most important things that you want to take in the morning. The morning is, how you start your day. It can be the deciding factor on the rest of your day and how you're going to feel, but I started reading the plan, and every night, even though I intended to read it earlier in the day, I wouldn't read it until, like, right before I went to sleep. And that was tough.
Yeah.
Because you almost want to rush in that situation.
Yeah, for me, before I did this plan, I always did it at night, because that was the time that I could find time for myself, because that was before I was doing morning workouts. So that, like, in the morning is now easier for me, because I'm already up early instead of wanting to sleep in. But, I mean, I don't know. It all changes.
But when you read every single word of the entire book, once you've completed that, it just feels like an achievement beyond what you could have comprehended before that. It's one book, but it's definitely the most important book you'll ever read in your life. And so there's a lot of things that I learned over this. That there's books of the Bible before this I didn't know existed. And I'm ashamed to say. But what you're getting is you're not missing anything. When you go to church on Sundays and when you're getting the message, you'll be reading maybe the book of John, or there'll be from Psalms. And eventually, sometimes, rarely on weekends, you'll hear from a book you don't usually hear from. But now that you're reading the Bible all by yourself and it's on your own time, you're able to dive into every single book and not skip a step.
Yeah, touching on that, it's like, going to church is amazing, but reading the Bible gets every single piece, like what you said, that I didn't know that, like, I mean, everyone's heard, like, the prodigal son, all these huge stories in the book, but there's so many little things that they leave out. I mean, it's hard to do a whole, like, hour and a half sermon on it, so I understand where it comes from, like doing the big ones for sermons, but like knowing all the little stories is super helpful. And,
Well,
like, to apply
pastors,
to
yeah.
life.
Well, pastors really help you to understand the major points of the Bible, and they get the important stuff across. They have points that they have to get to, and so they usually use major verses in the Bible so that they can help to show what they're talking about, and so that they can help to make their lesson better understood. But when you take everything verse to verse, there's going to be things that you have not seen before, and you're already seeing that. Can you talk about some of the things that you hadn't necessarily read, or if you have read, it wasn't in depth yet?
I mean, we go to a Christian school, so we have a Bible class, and something big that turned me off from wanting to do this plan was last year we learned about Genesis and all the like stuff that happened in the beginning in the old book, or in the Old Testament, I mean. And so I was like, oh, I don't want to read that because we've already gone through it. But we were kind of skipping around, so me going back and like going through every single verse, every chapter, like it's just so much more fulfilling. Because I mean, I thought I was gonna be tired of it already, but it's just like it's such a amazing thing. It makes you feel amazing.
And once you reach the next books, you feel ready for it. And it's nice that it's not just starting start to finish, but you're also starting in the Gospels at the same time.
Yeah.
You go beginning of the New Testament, beginning of the Old Testament, and then the beginning of either Proverbs or Psalms, and then you push through it in that direction the rest of the year until on the final day you're reading Revelation 22, Nehemiah, and a Psalm 150.
Yeah.
And it's great. Like, I've never dove into the book of Nehemiah, or
That's a book? I've never heard of that.
it's the last book of the Old Testament. And at that time, the people in Israel were very faithful because they had to fortify their land, as you know, there were conflicts and issues. And it's not in the theme of the Bible, seemingly, one of the major events that happens. I mean, you know, what you kind of remember is you remember Moses receiving the law.
Yeah.
You remember, you know, Jesus and the gospel is the main part of the Bible.
Yeah.
But outside of that, you just remember Genesis, what the Jews read as their Torah,
Yeah.
the parts of the law, because that's what is the major point of figuring out what salvation is.
Yeah.
And that is the goal of reading the Bible. That's the goal of sharing
Yeah.
the Bible and what's inside of it, is so that people can get the message of the gospel. And so when you actually take it upon yourself to dive in, read every book, you're gonna like I already said, you're gonna reach information that you haven't seen before in books that you haven't seen before.
Yeah.
True.
It's what I'm looking forward to next year in Bible class is our teacher is super into apologetics and learning about other religions. So I mean, I'm pretty blinded to all the other religions because I was raised as a Christian my whole life. So it'd be kind of cool just to see what everyone else sees in them, I guess. I don't know. But
Yeah. Who do you think about interviewing? Which religion would you like to interview?
I don't know, because, I mean, Mormon would be kind of cool, just because, like, you know, it's like the Bible, but they added other books. I don't understand, because there were other prophets or something that they make those up, or what happened, do you know?
Well, so I'm not sure. Like, I'd like to study this religion a little bit more, but I'm not sure. They added to the Bible, there was a Book of Mormon, which is essentially like another book after the New Testament. It was like the second New Testament.
Oh, yeah.
And so another thing that I want to get into is an era of football. You were speaking to me about this earlier, and I don't understand it because I do not follow sports as closely as you do. I understand the significance of what's been happening, but you've been telling me that an era of football is now over.
Yeah, for sure, because there's like football, there's old football, and then there's new football. It's the new coaches coming with new plays, new designs, and new plays on the offense, plays on the defense, and how they read those. So, just recently, Nick Saban, Bill Belichick, and Pete Carroll were all retired, or Pete Carroll got fired. Because I mean, he didn't work well enough with their offense.
There's just no future there for him.
There's no future. I mean, he won the Super Bowl in 2013, I believe, but I mean, from there, it's kind of been a downfall. I mean, they haven't had many winning seasons.
But this is not just in the NFL. This is also college football as well.
Yeah, for sure. Nick Saban is a huge Alabama coach, which has, I believe, 7. Don't quote me on it. I think 7 national championships.
I think it's
in
about
his
7.
career.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that sounds right.
That's just. Do you think this is a good thing, or do you think that football is entering a weirder age?
I don't really know, but like, it's definitely changed. I know people hate change, so it's gonna be a little hard to, like, grasp all these big names retiring. I don't fully know if Bill Belichick will he's leaving the Patriots for sure, but I don't know if he will end up fully retiring or switching over to another team that works better with him. Because the Patriots were not it this year, I'll just tell you that.
I mean, this happens in sports in general. Like, everything goes through its cycles and eras. It's kind of like with baseball when you had Derek Jeter and all of the guys that were like to him, A-Rod.
Yeah.
And now it's over. There's new eras that come from it, but the dominance that was in New England for a long, long time,
Yeah.
it's just over. They're all gone.
Yeah. I mean, Tom Brady was a huge leader in that. I mean, he proved it by going over to Tampa Bay and winning another Super Bowl over there. I mean, that just shows how amazing of a player he is.
But you gotta imagine it's not sustainable, of course, because professional athletes can only go so long, and there's a certain stress factor that comes with being a quarterback.
Oh yeah,
and you can definitely speak to that. As this year at our high school, you were kind of pushed into a position that it shocked you at first.
Oh, like, yeah, for sure.
You were now going to be the main quarterback, and every Friday night you said that you, during this season in your life, were not eating, and so you lost 20 pounds.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a lot of stress on your body, and I mean, practices ours were 3 hours long, so it's just super tiring on your body. I mean, I was eating, but it was like I was not eating enough where I was replenishing all the stuff I lost.
So what's it like when it's Friday night? We also have games at Saturdays because we don't have a football field. But
yeah,
right before, what was going through your head? It couldn't have at first. It couldn't have been all good things. There had to be. Was there a factor of nervousness there, or did it get to the certain point where that nervousness turned into 100% confidence?
I mean, I was super nervous because before I was the JV quarterback, so going from JV to varsity is a huge step. The speed alone, and just how the players play, which are so much they're so much more athletic and all that stuff. So it's just a huge step to get used to that. It probably took me till week 3 to fully develop into a varsity player, I would say. So it's just a lot of like that kind of stuff. Like, I wasn't fully... I mean, I was a little bit nervous stepping into that role because, I mean, the whole team is on your shoulders.
Right.
But, I mean, there's not much else you can do.
It's not like where right before the games you couldn't eat anything, right? You were still able to at least have that level of some comfort to where,
Yeah, I could.
Okay.
But sometimes, I don't know, it just depended on the game. Some were really hard to focus in school. That was super hard for me in that opinion. Or in that way, thinking, I'm just sitting in math class.
What's it like on Fridays in school? I mean, this, freshman, sophomore, and junior year, you still played football on Thursdays or Fridays. What's the day of school like? Are you able to focus? Or because I've heard, you've talked about this before.
Yeah. So Thursdays are our walkthrough days, so I don't worry all week until the actual game day, which is our Friday. And so sitting through class, there's times I can turn it off and just think all school, but then there's times which I'm just thinking about it, running through plays in my head, thinking about what I did right or wrong in practice that week, and how because we watch a lot of film, and especially as a quarterback, I'm supposed to watch a bunch of film, learning the other team and what they do when they're pressing or they're off. I need to know their defense like crazy, and I mean, that's something I'm going to work on more for this upcoming season, is just learning the defenses better. Because I know that's something I kind of was a little bit lacking on. But, I mean...
something that I always think this applies to everybody. This is not just football. This is not sports. This is not specific to any performing arts. But you can sometimes get in this area where the week of, regardless of what you're doing, this could be in any area.
Mm-hmm.
You learn something, and it's super fresh in your mind, but we tend to become uneasy. I mean, it's human nature to worry, and so sometimes we can get that in that mindset of, I just learned this thing, can I perform it? And we start to worry. I've done this myself a lot. Is I tend to worry when I have to pick something up and then I have to perform it, or I have to know it, recite it, do whatever. Maybe it's in the weekend. Maybe it's an event that I have. Maybe I'm working somewhere. Maybe I'm volunteering, and it's a skill. It always has to do with the skill. Like let's say you're in drama and you remember a certain set of lines and you have to recite that new upcoming. We can always find ourselves disassociating with wherever we are at the moment, because what we should do is we should take everything as it comes. We should live in the moment, but we start to worry, and we recite, we practice, and we think about the thing that we're worried about, whatever it is, and then it leads to us forgetting about and becoming behind in other aspects of our life.
Yeah.
Like, it's like how during school you're not focused on anything that's going on. Maybe you're talking to somebody, you're not really engaged in conversation because you're just worried about that one thing. And that can be a problem.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, it's also weird how just, like, practice and getting, like, repetition of that also helps make you feel more comfortable. Like, even in school, like, you just learn this new math, like, section or whatever. The first, like, 2-3 days, you're stressing because you have no idea how it works, or, like, am I going to be able to get this? So then it's just practice, and then you finally are like, oh, I can kind of get this. And then the test comes up, and then you feel like you can do it. So that's kind of, like, just a way that you, like, you can apply that to sports, you can apply that to whatever. Like, practice does make perfect, in my opinion.
But sometimes, and it's going to happen with whatever area of expertise we're in, we're not going to get enough practice, and we have to perform what we have been practicing. And a lot of doubts can creep in. It's not a godly thing. It's not a godly thought. God is not going to put that thought in your mind to doubt yourself. And it can become a lot easier for the devil to put thoughts like that in your head and make you doubt your ability. But a good thing to remind yourself of is just God's in power. And it's easier said than done.
Yeah, it definitely is.
You can say, I have faith in God, I'm fine. But then it comes down to it, you worry anyways. It takes a lot of practice to get into a better mindset about that.
Yeah, it is. It's just hard to, like, think about it. Like, when there's no pressure, it's easy to be like, oh yeah, God's got me, everything's good. But then when a little something, like, pushes on your door, it's just like, some people just, I mean, me too, some people just turn off their God. Like, that sounds weird how I'm saying it, but
no,
like,
it makes perfect sense.
But, like, they turn off God, so then it's like thinking all about themselves. I mean, everyone does it, everyone's human, but it's hard because some people are better than others at trusting in God in those certain, like, circumstances in their life. But I don't know, it's just hard.
Right. It's like, even when an earthquake happens, when you're driving on the road and somebody swerves, there's almost a car accident.
Yeah.
In that one moment, I feel like I'm forgetting everything sometimes. Like, I forget all about God's grace and love. In that one moment where I get scared, it all of a sudden goes away, and it can be frustrating.
That's
right?
why they train you in, like, for sports. Like, in those moments, they want to train you so that you have all the capabilities, and in that split second
Woo!
situation, finally, you can perform to your full, like, potential without, like, having to think
right
through all your movements.
But it's just like war. That's the way war, especially the more major ones in history, turn out how they did. It's because there was a plan, the people thought they knew what they were going to do. They had an idea, and then the second the fear comes in, they just forget everything.
Yeah.
It's literally like that Mike Tyson quote. Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face, right?
I've never heard that.
Then you just resort to whatever it is that you've done the most. Whatever it is
Yeah.
that your muscle memory is. You're not going to recite, you're not going to think of some formula in your head and go through the steps about what it is. You're going to react. You're in a state of
Yeah.
reaction. At that point, that's how, historians look at war is there was a plan. Somebody had a plan, and then these events happened, these bad things happened, and then it just turns into all chaos.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's just crazy how like fast things can change too.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, yeah.
Chaos is so easy. Once I was in a store. This was in Arizona. I was in a Walmart. I couldn't have been more than 8 years old, but I remember this because of what happened. The power goes out. There's a monsoon in this big store, and power goes out in a Walmart.
Chaos.
The people in the Walmart started beating each other up. They started beating each other up and stealing. Like, the second the power goes out, even at our school, when we're in an assembly or we have chapels on Wednesdays, which is when we get a message from a speaker, and we're all in this big room. Remember when a couple weeks ago it was raining and the kids were freaking out?
Literally just a few drops came on stage, and everyone, I'm not kidding, got up from their seats, sprinted outside. I mean, we leave our backpacks out, but I mean, still, I don't know why everyone just like full sprint. There was probably like 400 kids that got up instantly.
No, but that's scary to think about. If that happened on a wider scale, disorder came that quick.
Yeah, for sure.
Everybody, the teachers could not get the kids to calm down. Like, what are they going to do about 400 kids doing something? They can't do anything.
No, they can't do anything.
And if it gets into an even worse situation where, God forbid something happens and people are in an unsafe position, whoever is to help are gonna be worried about their family.
Yeah.
They're gonna go home. There's gonna be nobody to call. And it's scary how like one little event like that can start a chain of reaction of thoughts, which I had of what could happen.
Yeah.
And it's really creepy. It's really scary. But at this Walmart, it was just chaos, and the power went out for it was one day.
Yeah.
So think about what would
crazy.
happen that happened on a wider scale.
Were you on a vacation or?
I was in just summer. Yeah, I guess it was a vacation. It was really hot that weekend.
Oh, really? I mean,
Yeah.
that's bad for. I mean, no AC with no power, right?
Yeah, no, the AC went out. The only good thing was that there was water coming from the sky, right?
Yeah, that's.
That was the only thing that cooled us off. But like at places like these, when you're in the desert during the summer, I feel like anything could happen.
Yeah.
Like storm, you're on God's time. God decides everything that happens. God decides the forecast. Deaths happen because the forecast says one thing, and then God just has a different plan.
Yeah. Speaking on, you were talking about the desert there for just a split second. When was the last time you went to the desert?
It was a couple weeks ago for New Year's, and I have this New Year's ritual that I just established this year. So it's not much of a ritual because I've done it once, but I jump in about below 40-degree swimming pool.
Okay, like a polar plunge.
It's a terrible ritual. There's nothing special about it, but it feels like a fun way to start off the year. But going out to the east into the desert from where we are is a great way to spend our New Year's, just doing whatever. But
Yeah, for sure. What were you riding? If that's what you were doing.
drive a Can-Am, 2-seater. The new Can-Am 2-seater. Have you seen the 2024?
I have not.
The 2024 is a ridiculous car. In races in Baja and Mexico, they are beating everybody. Like, they're standing still.
The
And
two-seaters are?
the new car is paddle shift.
Okay, yeah.
So it's not automatic transmission. It's all manual. So you will literally be able to ride next to one of those things, and you hear it go.
Yeah.
Hear them shifting, and just looking at the car, what it looks like, it's completely different than other years.
Oh, yeah.
The suspension, the back, everything is completely different. And good or bad, I'd say it's good. But those cars are becoming a lot more expensive.
Oh, yeah. Like, you talk about the Baja, like, I love watching the Baja 1000. It's always been a goal. Like, when I was little, I was like, I want to race in that. now looking at how much all this stuff costs,
It's a risk factor too.
And the risk factor, like the amount of people that
Yeah.
die or like get severely injured is crazy.
Because Mexico is a place largely without law and order in many places. So you're on a trail. The week before the actual race, you go through the trail and you kind of cut things out. You make your own course a little bit.
Yeah.
You feel it out. But what people like to do during the Baja races doesn't matter if it's 50, 100, 250, 500, 1000.
Yeah.
They go on the trail and they want to make you crash.
Oh, like those the locals, a lot of them, they bury mattresses in the dirt. They put holes, jumps, all that stuff. It's crazy, like the amount of wipeouts and stuff that happen because of it.
It's really sadistic to have that be something that you look forward to.
I know, it's crazy.
These people they're not okay after they crash.
No.
Die, break bones, become paralyzed. It's horrible. But the vehicles now that are out there,
they're crazy.
Are next level. We're talking 6-figure cars, but the speeds. The
trophy
new
trucks
Polaris.
are hauling too.
Have you heard about the new Polaris
I have
Razor
not.
Pro R? It's a phenomenal car, but it's now becoming half of $100,000. It's becoming a $50,000 plus car just for stock.
Oh my gosh.
And these people aren't just driving stock cars. If they win a win, they have to deck it out.
Oh, they put at least 50, 100 grand in there.
Yeah, race cars, and then what stands a chance to get one of those? But I'll tell you, the new Can-Am 2-seater is actually capable of beating any other car except the one car that I heard is able to match it or surpass it. So most of the time, surpass it is an aftermarket Pro R, which it makes sense. But for a stock car, you're getting a lot out of it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I've always wanted a Polaris, but I mean, I don't have that kind of money.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
But
Age. Hey, with age comes cage. You're on a dirt bike.
I
Life is
am.
good. Life's good.
Yeah. I've got the opportunity, actually this next coming year, to be able to go to the Baja 1000. And my cousins work in the pits.
Oh wow.
So I might be able to be, like being able to like travel around and be the pit crew, which would be
Oh,
cool.
you're gonna be a chaser?
Yeah.
So that you're gonna have to hop in the truck and then chase the people down to their pit stop?
Yes, but not fully, because there's gonna be a few different vehicles. So it's like, it's not as, if it was just one van, then it's kind of like you're hopping and trying to beat them there.
Mm-hmm.
But it's gonna be probably like five vans or something. So it's like a lot more laid back, if that makes sense.
Being in Mexico is so weird because you're in Tijuana. There's lawlessness. There's a fraction of the law and order that San Diego has, and America's getting worse.
Oh yeah, California has so many like stupid laws that just like stop. Did you hear that the motorcycles, I believe, the newest ones are only able to like ride on tracks, not even in the desert?
The
or something?
newest. Oh yeah, the new law that's passed that they're trying to prevent use of the desert as on trails.
Yeah.
But Mexico in general, like, it's better because, there's a lot more freedom to do that kind of stuff, but going to a resort down there, and you're not too far from La Jolla, San Diego. That's a nice place. You're super close to there, and just to think, about a half hour south, you're in a place where you might get kidnapped if you go down there. You can't trust a lot of the things that you're given on the side of the road, vendors. Yeah. And being down even further, going to Cancun, when I visit there, the area that you stay in with all the resorts is completely safe. But that's because everything down there is cartel owned, right? So we, as soon as we get behind in this little area, it's a strip of land with all the resorts and hotels. We'll see a big truck and a big gun with all these guys wearing masks, and they're just ready to rock.
That would be so scary if you saw that.
It's terrifying. And one of those times we were walking across the street to the mall just to go get ice cream, and there's a cartel truck right there. They have skull masks on. Their hands are on a huge heavy machine gun. They all have AR-15s, and they just they wave us by. They say go, and we have to act like it's super generous. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
For letting us pass, but deeply inside we're terrified.
Where were you at?
This was Cancun, Mexico. Deep down south.
Is that by Ensenada or? You know?
I don't know.
Because last time I went to Ensenada, it was actually really nice because you're right kind of by the beach. So, I mean, I didn't see any of that kind of stuff happening. But, I mean, that was probably 2018 last time I was
But
there.
it is happening down there. It's just, being an American, you're a lot safer because they need your business.
Yeah.
That's how they're going to make money. But it's just, it was scary to see that. Like,
oh, yeah, for
especially
sure.
everywhere we go, we see huge armored trucks.
Yeah.
It's a lovely place, though. But the time my sister went there, right after she left, she had a coworker that was there at the same resort that I was staying at when we were all there as a family.
Yeah.
And they had to lock down the entire hotel and all the surrounding hotels because the cartel decided they wanted to behead about 3 rival members on the beach in front of the resorts.
Oh, wow.
So that is what stops people from wanting to go down there. It has so much to offer.
Yeah. I mean, there was a time that we couldn't even go down there. Like, during the... Do you remember, when was it? Was that 2020 that if you were in Mexico, you couldn't even come back? Because of COVID?
They had actually some of the strictest COVID laws.
Yeah.
And you don't want to break the law down there.
Oh,
one
definitely
of the
not.
prisons.
I mean, if you even run like a yellow light, sometimes you're pulled over.
The way they drive down there is nuts, though.
Yeah.
It was so funny. Just getting on the shuttle from the airport to the hotel. I almost like their style of driving a little bit more because it's just whatever.
Yeah.
Like if I'll swerve, I'll freak out. But we're swerving, we're slamming on our brakes. And everybody's doing the same thing. Nobody gets mad at each other.
Yeah.
It's kind of a cool style.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, my favorite videos I see online are when someone cuts in front of a cop, like those cops that like are in just a normal car.
Right.
I love it when they just cut in front of them and then they end up turning on their lights. I don't know. I just find those so entertaining.
Are you talking about in Mexico or?
No, I just
in general.
In general.
Yeah, there's a lot of those. There's like a phobia now that not a phobia but a fear I should say of the same thing of Ford Expeditions in general.
Oh,
if I see a Ford
I'm slowing
Explorer
down.
or Expedition because they kind of look the same from the front. If I see one coming at me, I slow down no matter what.
Yeah.
I'm probably not even speeding, but it's still like, oh my gosh.
Or like when you pass just like a cop car or like even like a security truck. I don't know, but it's just like I tense up and I'm like go a little under the speed limit and just like I'm just trying not to like draw attention when I'm probably drawing more attention to myself.
So back to you were wondering where Ensenada was and if it was close. Ensenada is like right below Tijuana on the Baja Strip. And then Cancun is deep, deep down. A lot of people from Texas actually go to Cancun.
You know why?
It's like really close. They can get a direct flight from Dallas down. And so I met a lot of people that go to like southern schools. I met a lot of Roll Tide people down there.
Roll Tide, baby.
Roll Tide.
Actually,
not anymore.
Going back on that, a lot of people decommitted from Alabama.
Yeah.
Because of our fellow Californian Julian Sains. He was I think a 4-star or maybe even a 5-star that was signed or committed to Alabama, and then after the news that Nick Saban retired, he decommitted quickly, and I believe he's going to Ohio State now. So
Ohio State, my mom always wanted me to go there.
Why?
Good education, I guess. It's just the name. I don't know, but college is. I'm trying to figure out where that is where I'm gonna go right now. I think I want to go to Liberty University. I really hope that I get in though.
Yeah.
It only has a 99.3% acceptance rate, so might be in that 0.7. It doesn't make it.
That's actually pretty broad.
That's very high. There's actually a joke. Lil Nas X. We shouldn't give him attention.
No.
Out of all he does, for those you don't know, don't look him up. But let's just say he's mocks the Lord, and recently he pretended. It's blasphemy what he did, but he pretended to get accepted into Liberty University. He said, "I'm changing my ways," and so he posted on his Instagram actually a fake acceptance letter from Liberty University that he got in and that he wanted to change his ways. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm visiting in a couple weeks. I don't want to go to the same university as this guy.
Yeah.
I bought into it. Maybe I was being too gullible, but I actually bought into it. Thought he was going there.
How low can you be though to like? That's so lame of a person to do that.
But it's not even for a purpose. It's not even for a cause. He gets entertainment because he wants the attention in that way. And it's not a good way to have attention. It is not sustainable. Okay, if he has to do that, maybe you're not as talented as you say you are, right?
Yeah,
you have
for
to
sure.
do something like that. I guess that's just the sign of the times. People have to do that in order to maintain relevancy.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard being, like, you can be the most relevant people. Like, when we were younger, who was super big?
Right, like,
Even
can't even think about it, right? We can't.
Tanner Fox, I'll give him as an example.
We're going to YouTubers.
I mean, I'm just saying in general, but he was huge. Like, when I was younger, he was, like, rising. I mean, he's not even that big of a guy, but, I mean, a lot of people know who he is.
Because it was a niche thing. You guys were into it. Kids were into it.
Now, I was kind of the main target audience. So now that I'm older and I don't really watch much YouTube anymore, now I fell out of his, like, feed.
Once those generations grow up, once those kids grow up, get interested in other things, then their careers are over.
Like, Dude Perfect's a huge example.
They're still going.
They're still growing. They're still growing and stuff, but, like, they were, like, at, like, 30 million subscribers. And then to get to 60, I mean, 30 is a lot. But how fast they grew from 10 to 30 or 40 was super rapid. Now it's just, like,
a lot slower.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens. It's just a natural process, but
yeah.
If you have to sell your soul like that in order to maintain your relevancy, then you're not actually really worth anything. Like, there's theories in Hollywood, right, about, you know, what people actually have to do to maintain fame. And I'm not saying it's true, probably not, but there's a theme that some people actually follow of having to dress up as a girl. They have to wear a dress.
Yeah.
And a rapper named Kid Cudi did it, and other people have done it. I'm not sure, but mainly in the music industry. And so what I heard it represents, in order to become a part of this club, because famous people, A-list celebrities, they're all probably a part of a club. But in order to actually become a member, you have to be embarrassed.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe that's an initiation. That's what I've heard. Now, I don't know if I believe in it, but all these people follow a weird pattern of doing things like that to maintain relevancy, or at least get it in the first place.
Yeah. I mean, and then a lot of things happen when they're trying to push it too hard, and then nothing comes out of it. Like, they're just, like, squeezing it dry, their whole audience.
Just sucking the life out of what they had.
Yeah.
Right? These people, a lot of the time, these people start off normal.
Yeah.
Like, it's sad to watch the one rush that they desire. The main drug is fame. So they have to keep constantly getting crazier and crazier and crazier to get that same attention that they started off with.
Yeah. Usually at the beginning, it's just like, a lot of these people that got famous got one video that blew up, and then after that, it's kind of, they've never looked back. But it's hard from putting zero effort in to getting crazy views to now putting in so much effort and getting zero views.
But let's talk music. Sam Smith.
Yeah.
You know, okay, Sam Smith started off his music career over 10 years ago, but he was wearing suits in his music videos.
Yeah.
He was wearing suit and tie, super clean, you know, dressed like Michael Bublé, looked like he had class, but now it's gotten to the point where he's dressing up as the devil in his music videos. And what is it for? What's the purpose? Like, people liked your music, right?
Yeah.
But it just raises the question as to why people want to do that and what they're doing it for, because it can't make you happy.
Yeah, I know. I feel like a lot of that is to get on the headline. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like
headline.
Like, I do something so outrageous that it gets on all the news networks.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And then, like, on Google, there's a feed that just shows all the top news. I want my name on that. Then it's like, oh, I remember that guy. Let me check out his music again. Even though it's a bad thing, I mean, it turns a lot of people away from who they are, especially, like, Christians or other religions that just, like, turn away from that. But I just, like, a lot of people think that that's would, like, spark interest again. Even, like,
that makes sense.
Not in the same way, but, like, I feel like Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, how much I, like, despise how this happened and all this stuff as like a football fan. Like they each got so much fame because of this.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
Do you think that the camera guy that gets Taylor Swift sitting in her box is on salary just for that reason?
Bro, probably. It's so annoying. I saw a touchdown this following weekend, or this last weekend, of not even Travis Kelce scoring a touchdown, and the camera instantly went to Taylor Swift.
No,
it's so irritating.
There might be a game plan, I don't know, to just get the ball to Travis, get Travis far enough, or get him into the end zone, and then instantly shoot the camera up to Taylor Swift.
Oh, I'm not kidding. There's a camera staying on there probably the whole time.
He's on salary.
Change.
He's probably on salary.
Oh, definitely, for sure.
What that number is, how much he's making, that'll come out later, but I'm excited.
She probably tips him, to be honest.
Oh, she's a generous tipper. That's what I've heard. She gave, after her tour, she gave all of her bus drivers $100,000 each bonus.
Oh, wow. I mean, she makes bank, though, so.
I mean, I can drive a car. How hard is it to drive a bus, right? I'm just kidding.
I mean, the funny thing, though, is, did you hear that Taylor Swift's cat has a higher net worth than Travis Kelce?
Cat.
Her cat.
How does that work?
I have no idea. Maybe it was on a music video or something, but like...
So if it's worth more than Travis Kelce, who is one of the top players in the NFL, then we are not even comparable to the cat.
I don't understand how that...
That one cat is worth 1,000 of us, plus. That's weird. Cat. How many cats does she have? One?
I believe one? I don't know. I'm not really a Swiftie, as they call it.
We're not. It's a shame. We should be. A lot of entertainment there, but... You know, that camera, I'm trying to figure out how much that camera guy makes. What's
Bro,
up?
hold on. I just looked it up. The net worth for the cat is $97 million.
Okay. Like, what does the cat do? Is it a brand?
Here, let me just read what it says. Taylor Swift's cat has a higher net worth than the singer's rumored boyfriend and NFL star Travis Kelce. The cat named Olivia Benson has a net worth of $97 million. This makes the feline one of the richest cats in the world.
What breed is it?
I don't know. It just looks white.
I don't really
fluffy.
understand cat breeds as well as dog breeds.
Oh, here we go. Why is it so rich? It's appeared in many music videos.
How does the cat get paid for that?
It says, big earnings thanks to her mom's clout.
Oh my gosh.
Man, so stupid. It even has a last name, Olivia Benson.
Bet if it was a dog, it'd be worth more.
Yeah, because dogs are more superior.
Dogs are always going to be superior to cats. No offense, but yeah. So, episode 1 has been fun. We'll be back consistently with more episodes. Just
sure.
Boom, boom, boom.
Next
please
week,
listen to
maybe?
this. Share this with your friends if you want to. We're not pushing you into anything.
But we're kind of pushing you.
If you listen to this far, you're awesome. And we're a little bit surprised, maybe. We're maybe a little bit surprised, but thank you so much for listening. We'll catch you next time. Any last words, Spencer?
Thanks for listening.
Yes. All right, guys. See ya.
All right,
Thank you
peace
so
out.
much.